So I've got some colour here, and this is just about demonstrating how to use your watercolours to the watercolour techniques. So I'm just adding some water and mixing it up here. Okay, and I'm going to do that leaf. And I'm using the same shade to show you how to maneuver your brush. So the thing is, you could start by doing kind of practice lines. So I would say something like, breathe in and then breathe out. And then as you breathe out, you hold the brush at an angle and you just practice these lines. There's another way of doing practicing line control. You breathe out, and as you breathe out, I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to breathe out. You do a continuous spiral and you hold the brush vertically. Okay, so sort of exactly like that. I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to go quiet because I'm going to breathe out and do a spiral. I've no idea how it's going to turn out, but let's see. So it wasn't great, but you get the idea. You do these continuous spirals to gain control of the brush. And in terms of the brush, get a size of brush that you think fits the size of your shape. So I could go for a larger brush, but this is what I've got now, and I'm just going to go with it. So I've got enough pigment on the brush. It's kind of quite watery because it's watercolour, and I'm going from one direction towards the top. And as you can see, while it's wet, I'm dragging the colour in one direction. If you forget that, just remember there's a band called One Direction that might make you remember this. And you just gather and gather to a point, and you can see the concentration of colour. While it's still wet, reload your brush, and then there you go. You can see I'm almost pooling the water in, and you want to go over it while it's wet. You know why, because otherwise it'll look quite streaky in the end. So just really just enjoy this bit. God, I so love painting. And just enjoy the colours fusing in. They blend and bleed into the existing paint you've got there, and that's just beautiful. Okay, so I'm just gathering it all towards one. So then one kind of part of the shape. You could do it the other way. You could now just, because it's wet, you can just drop a little bit here and it kind of finds its own way. There's a force that pulls it. You can do it like that. Now, when this dries up, you want to outline, okay? So now you're going to use thicker paint. You can use the same colour I am, or this might bleed a little bit now because my paint's wet. But normally you would do it when the paint is dry. You would go back into this shape and you would actually outline. Hold the brush like a pen, quite vertically. And you would do this. You would go over those lines. Do you see? And be brave. Don't worry about it. Don't be nervous about your painting. You've got a tracing, so you can always do it again. And oops, done a little bit of, don't worry about things like that. This is good because I can show you how to lift or just drag it along to the edges. Yeah, don't keep it in the middle. That's the beauty of watercolor. When the color floods, it just creates a mood. So I'm just going to let that dry. And what I'm just going to push it to the ends so it creates an effect, a shaded effect. And while it's wet, you can maneuver watercolor, but when it's dry, it will kind of stain the paper, so it's harder. Okay? And also, I haven't used thick paper, but when you're doing a really good piece, you want to use thick paper, which is called watercolor paper, and it's usually a certain weight of GSM. So let's just pause this now.